All right, everybody. So the start of the I've been doing these for the past couple of weeks now, but start of the new day, the new week. We'll get the new month this week as well. That will be what, Thursday. So yeah, we had a good week. There was a little scare on, what was it, Thursday, 25th. 25th. Yeah, that was Thursday. So kind of I think that was early morning. I did talk about that on my last video. I think I did a video on that afternoon or that evening, talking about how there was an entry based on the CMF. When was that? It was around here. Yeah, right here. So we had I had talked about here, and then we had this close. It was early in the morning where the sell off was, but that since we had flat price, we had CMF going up. That was the buy opportunity. We did have, let's see, I think the RSI had also gone oversold. Let me pull this back. It did go oversold earlier, the day before, but like I said, we had flat price. The sell off was rather large. We can look at it on the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, here, that was in that morning sell off. It had gone oversold on the 4 hour. And then on the daily, we did have a little bit of a reversal candle. The CMF was still trending down, and it is still trending down. But I think I said on the hourly that once we got a break, because that entry was here, we broke that the zero level on the CMF. RSI was right around 50. I did say that if we wanted to sustain the run, that we initially had to break, but that was the buy opportunity, right? So that morning, kind of if you would have got in here anywhere where this price was flat, RSI was trending up and the CMF was trending up. So say high, you got in at like 52. What you were looking for was you were looking for this to trend up and break. So we ended up getting to 30 MA, and then it kind of stalled out, right? So we had a red two below the red one. Now, would have that been enough to kind of scare you off to say, okay, maybe, I entered the trade. That brought us all the way up to what? 50. So that would have got you right in the entry. But say you got in here, right? That early morning. I mean, this high it was like 51.7. It stalled out. You would have been break even here, so that entry, kind of would have been nullified. Would that have kind of scared you off, though? This was 1800 hours. So what is that? 6 o'clock? Is it 3, 4, 5? Yeah, like 6 o'clock. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at it's like a no trade zone, right? It's like 1, 1. It's all flipping. Was there anything that showed? I think the funding rate had gone negative. Yeah, so the funding rate had gone negative. That's bullish, right? So we counter trade that. We entered here. It was positive. Kind of mellowed out. Went negative. You could have entered there. You did have green two above green one, kind of above these highs that kind of failed to break out. But then eventually you got new price movement. Went negative. So right around 1800, right here. This is where that sell off was on that one, where you started to get price retreat. Here's where it failed. It was pretty neutral. So that maybe would have not been enough to scare me to get out of a position. My CMF there was still trending up. Nothing crazy. We can look at the on-balance volume. On-balance volume was still trending up. I mean, you could have stayed in your position, set a stop on the lower lows, right? So you could have say 50,300 could have been, if price broke below that on the hourly, you could have sold off. But this, you still would have held. You still would have held your position. The 4 hour was kind of no trade zone. So I said, first we need to get above that hourly. We failed, but then we went to attempt and re-enter. And this right here. So we could have waited until we closed above it. On 2 candle basis, that would have got you in at 52.8, $1,000 higher than where if you would have tried to catch a knife. And then we broke it, right? So then we found support, broke below it. But overall, we ranged last week, right? So we ended up getting a 9, 1 to 4, 1 to 4 candle pullback. We got a price up, and then we didn't properly retest this area, right? Kind of like we didn't stay and find enough support here. And then, earlier in the day we did. So price, let's look at the funding rate. So when the funding rate started going positive, it still is positive. We're kind of flat. We're sitting around this 9 area. We can look at so we're above the 30. The hourly is probably pretty, yeah, so we're below it, but it looks like we're trying to break out again above it. Is the CMF supporting that? CMF is trending down, so that's, I mean, until we really break down, I don't see, again, I'm still in this trade. Is there anything here that tells me, I mean, this is support, obviously. If we break below, say, 54,000, which is a decent move, but I would say we're probably going to go back down again. So we would have to break down, 3 to 4%, and then we're probably going to go lower. But as of right now, I mean, we're just kind of neutral, right? We retested. We're getting some support here. The CMF had already trended up. We can look at the on balance volume. Looks fine. I mean, it's flat, but it's not like we're fine. I mean, reversal candle, big candle up, 7% consolidation. I mean, we're still between the area, like I said. I said it all week, between 51 and 61. Yeah, we went a little bit lower, but it quickly got bought up, right? So I bring up that Lucid SAR, the stop and reversal point. It is now the low of last week, so it's 53.305. We could definitely get back down there. We could get back down there. Let's look at it on the CMF on this. So this is pretty flat. I think the RSI has found some support on the 70, right? So we dropped below it. We went up, and now we're just kind of coasting along here. Still pretty neutral, but you still could have got a position, say in the 51.8 area, and you would be up. Let's just, kind of, let's do, we didn't catch the exact bottom. Let me go to the 4 hour. Let me hide this out. So this was a reversal here. Let's just do the top of this reversal, which is 52.140. We would be, 5 to 6% up, depending on where you entered. If you wanted to keep a tight stop, I mean, you could, on a 4-hour close below this 9, this 54.330, you could probably, close that position. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a quick wick down, though, when you get to like 51. But this is obviously support. We could wick back down there and retest that Lucid SAR, that stop and reversal point for the weekly. We haven't really broke one yet, but that would be kind of like a perfect, buy. But again, we're kind of really neutral. We're consolidating. This is really, really good as far as continuing in this cycle. I looked at the futures for the markets. I think they're pretty much flat, maybe down a negative, down a little bit. So yeah, we're still between this 51 about and 61 area between these Fibonacci's. We break obviously to new all-time highs once we get back up here and with some good momentum. Do we have that? Like I said, the RSI is pretty flat. We're here, flat RSI, but higher highs kind of and lower lows. You can see it all through here. This really needs to go. We really need to get a big movement to break these, and even this one up here, this like 89. Let's look at the monthly real quick. We're at 91. We're looking for around 95. The weekly's doing the same thing. We're trending down. We really need to start kind of, I mean, price can go up and we can trend down. It did in 2017, right? Where you can see here where, let me make this a little bigger. This Fibonacci's kind of getting in the way. It's kind of noisy, but I'll leave it on there. I don't feel like deleting and putting it back on. So, right here we had lower peaks, higher prices, and even, we had a down week here, 20%, and then, this is the final weeks of the bull cycle. But what I just want to show is that we can get upward price movement even here. I mean, it's kind of flat, right? This could be considered consolidation area. We reached the 9 with not, crazy, weeks, and then we broke that, and then we went up, retested, kind of came down and went up. So perfectly possible for us to consolidate, have this trend down lower, and then in the next couple of weeks, continue up our bullish movement. Until we break this 61 area, obviously we're not going to get up some large moves, but once that breaks, we're looking at like 71. I did say something like 80,000 in the month of April. So we have, we got like 5 to 4 weeks to do that. Definitely possible. Um, Still kind of ranging, which is good. So we're getting kind of higher highs and higher lows. So the trend itself is kind of intact. So that's pretty much it on Bitcoin. We can look at the hash ribbons real quick, something I haven't looked at. Still looks good. We can look at this pi cycle moving. Once these cross, kind of indicates possible top. When are they going to cross? They're only like $600 apart. Here or they were about the same, about 600. So, we might have another couple more weeks. Maybe we reach a high. I'm still looking at around 100,000 or more. Doesn't have to happen. We can still kind of get that double peak that I had talked about maybe earlier in a couple weeks ago. But as of right now, we're just consolidating. Be happy in your position. We can look at some moving averages here real quick. Overall, trends are up. We kind of had the price fall, but we had some nice buy volume come in, and we're kind of just getting flat. Well, I'll bring up the Bollinger Bands real quick. I did say that it was coming down, right? So our volatility is coming down, so we could expect a move. I'm not going to say as of right now. I'm like, okay, we're consolidating, but we're still in the middle of the range. So I mean, if I wanted to be conservative, I would say 50-50. I think right now as far as a breakup as probable as a breakdown, but I really am leaning a little bit more bullish. So like say 60-40, right? We get upper here like 59, somewhere a lot closer to 60 with some good momentum. We could start to see this Bollinger Band width, which is kind of like indirectly showing you the volatility. We'll probably get, we'll get a breakup. How long does it usually stay here at this lower level? I mean, it can do it for an extended amount of time. This was from May, so it's like 2 months. We could see it. I'm fine with that. Consolidation is nice, especially the longer we go. There's just so much money flowing into the markets. Money supply is increasing. The weekly is going to look the same. Crap. Let's see. Yeah, we're just consolidating. I'm fine with it. Yeah, that's about it. I don't see anything too crazy. We can pull up this Ichimoku cloud. It's not going to show anything special other than that we're really high above it. Yeah, we're still kind of in this range. This is fine. We're about to cross here. We could go into this cross maybe around 54.5. It's finding support here. Obviously, that was resistance. We broke above it. It's green 2 above a green 1 above 9, but we didn't retest. We retested. We can come here, and then we can see what happens. You can see there was a previous cross here. We went kind of a little bit below it, and we got momentum. Right now, this Ichimoku is probably just a good area to find to show some support. This just crossed, so that's actually bullish if you trade this as the way it's intended to be traded. But we look fine. 30 MA, we really need to break it. Let's look at yeah, so I mean it's kind of trending down. This really needs to go up, but it's fine. 60-40. Maybe we go back around 54 area, but as of right now, nothing too crazy. Looking good. Consolidation. Exactly what I've been wanting for weeks. I did talk about TLRY. Looks like New York's going to have a vote this week. It was very kind of up and down last week. There was times to make some trades, but they were quick. If this area does give way, it's probably not good. We're probably going to go lower. I believe this count is a 9. Yeah, we are on a 9 right here. So that is a reversal candle. But I wouldn't be surprised if we go a little bit lower. Here's another support area, an area that I have marked on my chart. Is this properly marked? It looks like it. Oh yeah, right here. There's the 9. So yeah, that's going to be a bunch of resistance right here, most likely 24. So we could see some movement in between. This is kind of like showing you potential ranging area, right? It's pretty tight between 24 and 21. Until we get a breakout probably above this setup trend, we won't go any higher. There's another one here, another one here. So we got a good range. We'll just see how that happens. We could get a day where we have some big movement tomorrow. I mean, well, whenever the market opens, as long as it opens below 23, 22, we're going to get a 9. So this week could be, we could get the 9 tomorrow. That can mark a bottom. We could get a run up maybe to 30, something like that. It's just something you're really going to have to analyze kind of in real time to see what is going on, because I can tell you the CMF, I mean, it's starting to trend up. I think on the 4 hour it didn't look that great. Yeah, it kind of bounced on the 9. Uh, so we'll see. Kind of neutral on this right now. There could be opportunity to enter a trade and then get a quick return depending on the way the vote comes in. In New York, there isn't no set date. They just said that they're potentially going to vote on that legalization of marijuana in New York City. But you can trade the 30 MA on the hourly for this. We know it's successful. It's 22.67. If you see price really probably go above this 23.35, that's probably a good area that you could go long if you're not monitoring it. And then we just kind of see set your stop based on your entry, because if these highs right here, this 24, and then 24. If 24 gets taken out, if you get 20, say 23.50, you see that goes as holes. You're above. You go to 25, you're most likely going to run up a good bit, at least to 26. 25 plus. Maybe 30s, depending on this vote and stuff. But I'm not going to promise that you're not going to get a big sell off, because that is also very possible where you buy the rumor, sell the fact, and then you get a nice price run up. Say, I don't know, it could be like 10 to 20%, and then you get all that gets sold off, people taking profits, and then we continue the trend. Because if I'm being honest, the trend is down for this asset, and there is support here. It's very clear. Multiple times it's wicked in this area and then found support and came up within a couple of days. So it's something you have to watch. We could have looked like going to be a good couple of days or something like that, and then it sells off, and then you're back in the support area. And if that breaks, we found support here before, but it might be difficult to find support there a second time, and then we could go to below 15. Something definitely to watch. So, but that's about it. If there's anything or any stocks you want me to kind of look at, it's possible. Leave them in the comments. And always, thanks for watching.